Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to this short video. For those of you who are already proud owners of a Makita cordless blower, whether it's the 40-volt device, the Makita AS001, or the 18-volt counterpart, the Makita DAS180, I have an extremely practical extension for all of you in today's video. I'm talking about this compact suction hose suitable for these two cordless blowers from Makita. What this part really is, what we can expect from this hose in practice, and why, in my opinion, it's a must-have for these two devices, we'll thoroughly explore in today's video. So I would say let's dive right in after the intro. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to never miss a video in the future. You can find the current prices to support this channel in the video description below. Thank you for your support, and let's get started after the intro. Whether it's the 40-volt or the 18-volt Makita blower, both devices are incredibly practical. They're compact, playful, and extremely versatile, and in my opinion, they should be a staple in every home and workshop. However, today's video is not exclusively about these two devices, as I've already introduced and tested them separately. If you haven't seen the individual videos yet, make sure you check them out. I'll link them for you up here in the info card. Today's video is solely about this practical extension, namely the suction hose suitable for both Makita cordless blowers. Yes, you heard that right, because these two Makita cordless blowers can not only blow air out in front, but also suction, significantly expanding their already relatively large range of applications. However, to be able to utilize this function effectively, we need this optional accessory, namely the suction hose. As you can see, it's nothing special, just a regular hose, but it significantly enhances the functionality of these two devices. So, before we take a closer look at what we can really expect from this hose in practice, let's first examine the hose itself and, most importantly, the installation process. The hose itself is a regular, flexible suction hose, similar to what we know from vacuum cleaners, for example. It gives a fairly high quality and robust impression. The outer diameter is a solid 35 millimeters, and we have a total length, including the two connectors, of around 550 millimeters, which, in my opinion, is more than sufficient because we can stretch this hose a bit as well. At the ends, we have the connectors familiar to us from these two cordless blowers. On the left side, the typical outlet that we find at the front of both devices, and on the other side, which is also surely familiar to us, it resembles the cover of the suction duct. In practice, since the turbines of both devices cannot simply rotate backward and suck air in at the front and blow it out at the back, we need to modify the setup so that the air continues to be sucked in at the back, and we mount the suction hose at the back of the device. For the installation of the suction hose, we first need to remove the cover at the back of the cordless blower. To do this, simply turn the cover slightly to the left, counterclockwise, and then it can be pulled out with two fingers. Directly underneath, as mentioned in the individual video, there are the two built-in filters which, in practice, prevent accidentally sucked-in dust and dirt particles from directly entering the turbine and potentially damaging it. These particles get caught on these two filter elements. In practice, it's essential to keep the two filters installed even when using the suction hose. The installation of the suction hose is relatively straightforward, as it's done just as quickly and easily as installing this small cover. Taking a closer look at the attachment, you can see two small plastic tabs on the right and left, and on the device, there are also two small indentations on the right and the left. Simply attach the hose here and rotate it to the right to lock it in place. In practice, changing or converting to the suction hose takes a few seconds, or rather, it can be done with a single movement. At this point, but not to forget, at the other end of the suction hose, there's another attachment, but not just any attachment. It's the exact same one that we find here on the actual device. And this brings the enormous advantage that we can now easily use the attachments that we would normally use at the front of this device for blowing, also for suctioning here effortlessly. In practice, this gives us the huge advantage that we can easily attach and use the nozzles, which we already have in the standard kit of the device, significantly expanding the versatility or the range of applications. Depending on the object you want to empty, it's possible to attach various attachments at the end of the suction hose. In practice, I started with a large air mattress. I inflated it completely at the beginning with the 40-volt device, then converted the blower to the suction function, and then fully deflated the mattress again. Inflation took about 23 seconds, and complete suctioning took about 30 seconds. So absolutely no difficulties in that regard, which is why I tested the blower again on significantly larger objects. This means next, I'll test an inflatable island for the pool or lake. I inflated it completely with the blower. This took 2 minutes and 22 seconds, and then the device was converted back to the suction function and fully deflated it with the same nozzle. And behold, after just 1 minute and 37 seconds, the cordless blower managed to suction out all the air from the inflatable island on the highest setting. By switching to the suction function, there was no change in the performance data of the two devices. That means we still have the maximum air speeds of up to 200 meters per second. In this context, much more important, the maximum air volume of an impressive 1.1 cubic meters per minute, and equally important, the maximum vacuum. This stands at an impressive 103 millibars. In the test, in my opinion, this is more than enough because both devices achieve a sufficiently large vacuum with 103 millibars to successfully suction out all the air from the respective object. I'm sure we all know the problem. Inflating an air mattress or the like is relatively quick. The real challenge comes afterward, trying to get as much air out of the object as possible. This means you usually start with folding, then kneeling on it, and so on. But in practice, it's realistic that you can never completely get the air out, and the object folded up ends up much larger than before. When using the suction hose in practice or in the practical test, I found that the blower, with a vacuum of around 100 millibars, easily manages to almost completely suction the air out of the object, something you wouldn't be able to achieve manually. And even if the suction hose occasionally sticks to the walls towards the end when there's hardly any air left in the object, you're still much more efficient and undoubtedly save a lot of time and nerves. In my opinion, this is truly an incredible practical extension for those who already own a Makita cordless blower. I, for one, won't be manually pressing the air out of air mattresses anymore. So, at this point, I would be interested to know, what do you think of the suction hose or this implementation? Feel free to share your opinion down in the comments. I'm looking forward to your feedback. And otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, please show it with a strong thumbs up. If you haven't already done so yet, then subscribe to this channel now and activate the bell to not miss any videos in the future. You can find the current prices to support this channel in the video description below. Thank you for your cooperation, and with that, take care. Until next time, goodbye.